The Balearic Islands form an archipelago in the western Mediterranean Sea, situated roughly 80 kilometers east of mainland Spain. The group includes four main islands, Majorca, Menorca, Ibiza and Formentera, as well as several smaller islets such as Cabrera, Dragonera and Esvedra. The islands form part of the Bedic mountain range, which extends from southern Spain beneath the Mediterranean. Together, the islands cover an area of about 5,000 square kilometers. The Balearic climate is typically Mediterranean, characterized by hot dry summers and mild wet winters, which foster a diverse range of ecosystems, from coastal dunes and wetlands to high-altitude scrubland. Ibiza and Formentera are known as the Pitiusec Islands and are smaller and drier than their counterparts, and are dominated by Aleppo pine forest, rocky coastlines, and coves. In part 1, we visited Sesalinas National Park in the south of the island, a vast area of salt pans and coastal scrubland, visiting several new hides in the process. In part 2, we move north to bird the hot, dry interior, but first we go chasing Balearic warblers on the highest point on Ibiza, Talaia, situated in the southwest of the island, close to the lovely village of St. Joseph de Talaia. At 475 meters above sea level, it offers panoramic views across Ibiza and the neighboring island of Formentera, and on clear days, even the mainland coast of Spain. There's two ways to get to the top, walking and driving, and I'll be exploring both of those options on separate days in this video. On our first visit there, we decided to walk up, hoping to catch the famous sunrise from the top. Your walk will start in the quaint little village of St. Joseph, where you'll find ample free parking as shown here in the middle of the video. The great thing about starting your walk here is that there's an amazing coffee shop overlooking the 18th century church of St. Joseph when you finish your hike on your return. The walk will take a person of medium fitness around 40 to 60 minutes and is well signposted all the way up, but I thought I'd show you the start from the village itself. Okay, we're just about to start the hike up to Talaia. It's the highest point on Ibiza. It's 475 meters, I believe. We're going to try and get up there for sunrise and enjoy the views from up there. It's a little overcast today and a little windy, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Already had goldfinch, blue tit and Mediterranean spotted flycatcher. There are Balearic warblers up here, but I've never been up here before, so we're going to find out if they're still here together. Just had a pair of Balearics in the shrubbery. I've spent several weeks over the years birding around the Balearic Islands, and Ibiza is by far the best island in the group to see these amazing endemic birds. And on Ibiza, Talaia must surely be the best spot to see these birds on the whole island. At these higher elevations on the hill, they seem to be everywhere. although on this day, with overcast and windy conditions, they were more skulking and called less. But I loved every second with them, and what a pleasure to see them doing so well up here. These warblers must be the most wanted bird for birders visiting the Balearics. They remind me so much of Dartford warblers from back home in the UK. Talaia, that way. So I made it to the top of Talaia. That's the antennas there, and the sun coming up. Not to be confused with the actual top of Talaia that has another set of larger antennae on it surrounded by pine trees. These antennae are located on the northern viewpoint a short distance away, where best to view the rising sun from. So after coming back down, we just bumped into the same pair of Balearic warblers. So I just spent a bit of time photographing them there. And now we're heading back down to St. Joseph in the car. At the top of the antennas, we had great tit and Mediterranean spotted flycatcher and linnet as well. Otherwise these forests are fairly quiet. Wind's blowing a bit, so maybe that's what's keeping everything down. But I'll definitely come back here, spend more time, maybe on a sunnier day. Try and get some videos of the Balearics. They were showing quite nicely. Next time I come up I may drive up rather than walk all the way up from the bottom, which is a little longer. Just this little section is a bit iffy. It's a bit like vertical, but you've got a rope or two to hold on to. Just had a pair of Sardinian warblers in this little valley down here. Just saw the female and heard the male calling a bit further away. Mediterranean flycatcher just on this pine at the back here. Coming towards us. Just up here, a pair of them. Okay, just on these lower slopes I've had feeding parties of firecrest, goldfinch, linnet and great tit. And there's another couple of birds up there. Let me just quick have a look. Yeah, it's just a mixed flocks I think. Had a single flock of about 5 or 6 firecrest just blow through. But always high Sardinian warbler down here as well, and the reluctant birder waiting for me again. Of the 5 species of pigeons and doves on Ibiza, collared doves for me would be the second most rarest, behind turtle dove, wood pigeon, and rock dove, only more common than stock dove, of which I've never seen on the Balearics at all. So it was nice to see these youngsters nearby holding on tightly as the wind buffeted the branches around them. These birds typically breed close to human habitation, wherever food resources are abundant and trees are available for nesting. Collared doves cooing in early spring are sometimes mistakenly reported as the calls of early arriving common cuckoos, and as such a mistaken sign of spring's return. Away from its lively beaches and coastal resorts, the interior of Ibiza reveals a quieter and more traditional agricultural landscape with fewer water bodies. Resident species such as Sardinian warblers, larks, woodchat shrikes, and hoopoes are common throughout the year. In spring and autumn, the skies fill with migrants heading to and from Africa, redstarts, flycatchers, bee-eaters, and the occasional raptors, using the island as a stopover. This morning I've come to an eBird hotspot, which is located just northeast of Kalilunga, where we are currently staying. I've decided to come here this morning and walk around, partly due to the fact that there are a few species here that I've not seen on the strip. For instance, Thekla lark and seal bunting. So I thought I'd come down and explore the area. It's quite a big sort of scrubby, half farmland, half scrubby area. It's massive. It must stretch for several kilometers either way of where I am now. I've kind of parked up in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk these sort of dirt tracks and see what I can find. Hopefully add those two species to my trip list. So come along with me and let's see what we can find. Don't know if you can see that, but the hot air balloon's already up. That greenfinch, Sardinian warbler, European turtle dove, house sparrow, and I've not even left the side of the car yet. So this road stretches through the farmland and comes out on the other side, and then further that way there's more farm tracks. So I've also got another eBird pen location that I want to visit today. So we'll just take it as it comes. I'm not in a rush. I've got kind of the whole morning, so we'll just wander around and see what we can find. A lot of this sort of stuff going on here, just little tracks going off that we can go and explore as well. So just to give you an idea of what this area looks like, it's sort of like scrubby areas like this, and then a bit of farmland as well. So the change in habitat is always good. Hence why it's a eBird hotspot, I guess. Sun's just about to come up there. And this sort of river, which is obviously now dry in the middle of summer, goes for miles through this area as well. Rio de Santa Eulalia holds a special distinction. It's the only true river in the Balearics. Although small and seasonal, it's an important feature of Ibiza's landscape and cultural history, and runs for about 18 kilometers south and then eastwards towards Santa Eulalia des Rio. Here comes the heat. I must say that Ibiza has a very healthy population of European turtle doves. Every morning when I walk around our little farmstead there around Kalajunga, I see about between 70 and 100 European turtle doves. And in the same area, sort of same habitat, I'm just seeing European turtle doves everywhere, including a lot of youngsters from this year. So that's really good to see, actually. There's tons of them here. I've seen more here than anywhere else in the Mediterranean so far. It's really encouraging. Even though this area wasn't very productive birding wise, it was still lovely to walk around an area I hadn't visited before. And of course, the time of year I was visiting didn't help either, which was mid to late summer. Little stone chat's just flown down there. See if I can get it on this side. Is that another one on the fence there? Yeah, that's a male on the fence. European stone chats are fairly common in the right habitat in the Balearics, including Ibiza. Here a small family party were hunting around farm buildings, making their distinctive stone-smacking calls. They found across Europe as far east as Ukraine and the southern Caucasus, and in parts of North Africa. They breed in heathland, coastal dunes and rough grassland, with scattered small shrubs and bramble, open gorse, tussock and heather. They are short-distance migrants or non-migratory, with parts of the northern population moving south to warmer parts of Europe and more widely into North Africa. European stone chats first breed when they are 1 year old. The nest is built entirely by the female and is placed in dense vegetation close to the ground. It's a loose unwoven cup of dried grass lined with hair and feathers. The eggs are laid in the early morning at daily intervals. The clutch is typically 4 to 6 eggs, which are pale blue to greenish blue with red-brown freckles that are more numerous on the larger end. Strangely harder to find this trip were stone curlew. Although this bird is classified as a wader, it spends most of its time on dry land rather than wetlands, standing motionless during the day and becoming active at dusk. It can be found in dry grassland, semi-desert areas, and stony agricultural plains and scrub, where it nests on the ground in a small scrape. It feeds mainly on insects, beetles, grasshoppers, and small vertebrates, hunting by sight in low light. Here on the Balearics they are known as torlets. Okay, as the sun's warming things up for the day, I've had a pair of barn swallows in and out of here. Sardinian warbler over there. Blackbird at the back there, linnet at the back, another Sardinian warbler in here. So yeah, I think as the sun is warming things up, or starting to warm things up, things are waking up and becoming more active. Barn swallows are the most widespread of all swallow species, occurring on all the continents, with vagrants even being reported in Antarctica. Made up of 6 subspecies, the barn swallow is a bird of open country that normally nests in man-made structures and consequently has spread with human expansion. It builds a cup nest from mud pellets in barns or similar structures and feeds on insects in flight. It breeds across the northern hemisphere and flies south for winter. Winter roosts can be extremely large. One in Nigeria had an estimated 1.5 million birds in it. I've just been watching these barn swallows fly in and out of here. So I've just had a quick little look in here. And they've got nests in the rafters here. Looks like they've been nesting here for years. Okay, I'm now on a road that heads for quite a long way, right through the middle of this area, just to the north of the sort of dry riverbed on my right hand side. Still fairly quiet, a few farmland chickens and a rabbit in the background. Almost back to the car. A few turtle doves and the wires behind me. Okay. It's getting quite hot now. But this area here is unfortunately very quiet. No seal bunting, no thick lark. So yeah, fortunately today it's a bit of a loss. Onwards and upwards. Next we visited Kalabasa Beach in the extreme northwest of the island, a fantastic beach with two nearby peninsulas that jut out northwards into the sea and a large wooded area just to its southwest. It was a beach day with a wife, but of course I can't sit still for more than 5 minutes, so I took all my birding gear with me to explore the area while she lay on the beach soaking up the sun. Picking up my first Eleonora's falcon of the trip, dive bombing for prey on the EI-700 as you turn off to the beach, and then while watching it I looked further down the field and picked up a pair of distant stone curlew, and even though I was a fair distance away standing still, they still flushed from the field. This morning we are at Kalabasa Beach. I've left Corin suntanning on the beach because I can only take so much suntanning before I go loopy, and I've decided to come in and walk this little headland here. I've had feeding parties of swift over. There are cliffs around here and rocky areas, so they may well be pallid swifts, but I can't make the call just yet. I'll have to look at my photographs when I'm back home. I can never ID swifts on the wing, always after the fact, back at home sorting through my photographs. So the sun comes and goes behind clouds. Currently behind a cloud, thank goodness. Otherwise I don't think I'd be walking here. I had European turtle dove already and what looks like a yellow-legged gull. Swifts are just up high there. Yeah, so as I was saying, if it was cloudless, I almost certainly wouldn't be doing this, it'd be too hot. So let's see what we can find around here. So this juts out into the sea, comes back down, does a U and goes to another peninsula. So let's see how far we can get. I'll take you down here and show you what the surrounds look like, the beach and all the rest. As all of Ibiza is, it's spectacularly beautiful. No matter where you are, you could be at the smallest beach and have amazing views. Okay, I've just walked all the way to the end of the first peninsula, and just a couple of swifts, wood pigeon, turtle dove and house sparrows for my efforts. That's looking across at San Antonio again, and Cafe Mamba, where we were last night enjoying sunsets over there. Very, very quiet around here though. But I'm just going to skirt the edge, maybe possible blue rock thrush or something like that. Anything at this point. Birding's a bit tough at this time of year. That's another little yellow-legged gull. I had my first Eleanor's falcon this morning, which I was very thankful for. Just got an Audouin's gull down here, and on that shelf there's about 3 or 4. So I may just walk along here and get a few shots. Calabasa again, and 4 Audouin's gull just sitting here on the point, and another one around the corner down closer to the water. So I'm just going to go around here and see if I can get these. Very busy today now that the sun's out. Beach is packed. Another Audouin's. Audouin's gull is a large gull restricted to the Mediterranean and the west coast of Saharan Africa and the Iberian Peninsula. In the late 1960s, this was one of the world's rarest gulls, with a population of only about 1,000 pairs. It has since established new colonies, but remains rare with a population of about 15 to 20,000 pairs, largely due to the protected breeding sites across the Mediterranean, including the Balearic Archipelago. However, they remain listed as near threatened on the IUCN Red List. This species, unlike many large gulls, rarely scavenges, but is a specialist fish eater and is therefore strictly coastal and pelagic. This bird will feed at night, often well out to sea, but also slowly patrols close to beaches, occasionally dangling its legs to increase drag. In the Balearics, seeing this gull is simply not an issue, as just about every beach has a tame pair or two looking for scraps left by beachgoers. This species shows little tendency to wander from its breeding areas. In the Balearics, breeding colonies have been recorded mainly on small offshore islets and undisturbed coastal areas where human disturbance and predators are minimal, laying 2 to 3 eggs in a ground nest, as is the case with many gull species. It closely resembles herring gulls, but has a short stubby red bill and a string of pearl white wing primary tips, rather than the large mirrors of some other species. The legs are grey-green and takes about 4 years to reach adult plumage. Funny how the shrubbery just ends and then the point is completely barren. So I'm just going to walk around the edge of it, see what else I can find. Had some nice shots of Audouin's gulls there and yellow-legged gulls, using the updrafts here to just patrol the coastline effortlessly. So as you can see, I'm on the headland here, and then you can walk around to that headland there that's got a little sort of beacon built on it. Bunch of swifts out here, little hunting party, and a lighthouse out on the end of that. I'm hoping these are all pallid swifts, considering the cliffs here and the ruggedness of the terrain and the coastal area they're in. But for me, I struggle to ID swifts on the wing. So I'll go further on. Yeah, they seem to be hunting closer to the cliff edge, and then I'll blast away. So I've just found a little nesting site for swift. They are all flying into here and nesting in this cave here. They're literally flying below me here. Lovely. So they're all just ducking in and out of this cave. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not. Amazing. By far the most abundant swift on Ibiza when I visited were pallid swift. These birds prefer to breed on cliffs and under eaves of houses around the Mediterranean and are rare north of their breeding areas. Because of its more southerly range, pallid swifts arrive earlier and leave later than the closely related common swift, so particularly early or late swifts north of the normal range should be closely observed. Like common swift, they migrate south for winter to southern Africa and Southeast Asia. Tracked birds support previous findings that they do not touch down during the non-breeding season, preferring to live a life on the wing. Identifying them on the wing for me is difficult, but you are looking for a bird that is entirely dark except for a large white throat patch. It's chunkier and browner than common swift, and the slightly paler flight feathers, underparts, and rump give more contrast than common swift. For me, the clinches are the scaly looking belly feathers and the subtly different flight action. Okay, I've left my swift colony in peace and I'm carrying on with my walk down the side of the peninsula back towards Corin. I could stand there photographing those all day, literally without a problem. And I'm sure there's many others watching this channel that would do the same. I could sit there with a deck chair and a nice beer or two or something cold, nice cold bevy, and just spend hours and hours there. But anyway, back to Corin quickly. Luckily it's not too hot today, as I've said before, so no doubt when I get back to Corin I'll jump straight in the water, cool down. I had to laugh to myself because I went on a long walk looking for birds and didn't find much. And then when returning to the beach where I started from, I found a whole bunch. Typical, isn't it? I guess where there's a human presence, there's more opportunity for a free handout. Like these goldfinch, seren and sparrows found by being able to drink fresh water from a leaking tap around the beach buildings. And then of course I kept an eye out for blue rock thrush the entire way around the headland, only to find them like 50 meters from where we were lying on the beach. And then lastly, on our way out of the beach to the car park, someone had been feeding doves right by the car, allowing point blank views of both turtle dove and collared dove. I wanted to return to Talaia in better weather conditions to try and get better photos and videos of Balearic warblers, but this time I wanted to drive up, saving a bit of time and effort, so back to the southwest of the island I went, just before sunrise. I thought I'd come back up to Talaia, and this time I thought I'd drive, which I wouldn't recommend. The road was pretty rutted and was a little scary driving up, but I haven't quite got right to the end. The summit is back there, but I've just managed to get here. I'm not going to negotiate this bit here. It's not too bad. I'll just walk to the end, not too far. But further down the road was extremely rutted to the point that I would say it was washed out. So I had to drive with my wheels on either side of quite a deep rut for about 20 meters, which wasn't pleasant. But anyway, we made it up. I'll show you what it looks like on the way down. But I just want to get to the end here to see the sunrise. And then we will try for Balearic warblers again. Beautiful day, another beautiful day in Ibiza. So just got a morning here, and then afterwards I'll be heading back to Corin to the villa, and then we're going to have a beach day. So this is going to be a fast and furious birding session here today. I just want to try and get better pictures and videos of Balearics, and then we'll call it a day. So even though this isn't the extreme summit of Talaia, this is the best viewpoint to see the sunrise, which I'm going to do first. It should come up somewhere there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to head down this hill to my little Balearic warbler site. It should be a pretty spectacular sunrise. So this is looking east from the top of Talaia, and that is the small little town of St. Joseph. That's where you would park your car if you were going to walk up here, like we did the other day. So you park on the other side of this hill and then walk up either side of this hill and then up onto the top. And for those of you that know Ibiza quite well, that's the sleepy little town of San Antonio, the party capital of Ibiza. The sunsets from Cafe Del Mar and Cafe Mamba, which is about there, are truly spectacular. And I'm sure Corin and I will at some point have a few drinks there and watch the sun go down. It's one of the best sunsets I've ever seen. It's amazing, and you have obviously the classic Ibiza tunes in the background while you're doing so. Spectacular. It's now about 7:15, and the sun will come up at about 5 past or so, so we've got about 20 minutes or so to wait. Sun's just poking its head out there. It's going to be another blinder of a day on Ibiza. Okay, I just had a pair of Balearic warblers up the top, but I've just wanted to come further down to try and get a better environment, more open, so I can get better shots. I'm just coming a bit further down the slope. Yeah, but I think so far, compared to Mallorca, it's far easier to find Balearics on this island of Ibiza. I think if you don't know where to look on Mallorca, it's hard work, to be honest. But here on Ibiza I've found several pairs dotted all over the place. But Talaia is definitely a hot spot for them. They seem to be all over the place, so it doesn't take too much trying to find a pair. So as you can see, this is a little bit more open. So I just want to have a look around here and see if I can spot them. There seem to be a pair sort of every couple of 100 meters kind of thing, which is quite nice to see. When I came up with Corin the other day, this is where we had a pair, yeah? So I think I can hear them contact calling up there. I don't know if you can hear that, but they are calling just up here. I'll point the mic in their direction. They're just over here. Top of that dead tree there. Dead tree. Three birds. Just over here. Whole gang of them. 4 birds. So like I said, you just hang around at a certain spot and you'll get a family group through. 1, 2, 3, 4 at the back. Amazing. Right here on this tree, dead tree. There's 4 birds there. So one here, one up in this pine, one at the back there, one in the tree behind, another one here. It's crazy. So many. It's like 5 or 6 Balearic warblers here. Can't believe it. As the name suggests, Balearic warblers are endemic to the Balearic Islands, apart from Menorca, where they don't occur. Balearic warblers are grey above and pale grey below, adding a pinkish tinge. Adult males have darker patches on the forehead and between the eye and the pointed bill. The legs and iris are a pinkish red. These small passerines are found in open country with thorny bushes and heather. Breeding occurs in spring, when pairs build small, cup-shaped nests with grass and twigs, hidden deep within shrubs. They lay between 3 and 5 eggs, and both parents share incubation and feeding duties. This species is non-migratory, remaining on Ibiza throughout the year, though it may move to lower levels in winter. Its ability to thrive in arid scrubland makes it well adapted to Ibiza's Mediterranean climate of hot, dry summers and mild winters. Got birds all around me here. I've got a spotted flycatcher here, and I've got 2 or 3 Balearic warblers just on that little edge line there. Spotted flycatcher sitting quite nicely here. I'll quickly take a photo. Mediterranean or spotted flycatchers in the Balearics are currently considered a subspecies, but will soon be lumped into one species with the dominant race. The birds on the islands tend to have paler upper parts, often with more whitish or clean streaks on the crown, less heavy streaking on the breasts, and underwing coverts that tend to be cleaner white. During migration, birds of both the dominant and the island forms can pass through. I've just got a little foraging party of Balearic warblers, about 5 or 6 birds. They're currently in this little pine tree behind me here. Feeding on the ground, contact calls, singing full song every now and again as well. On that far side of the pine tree there, quite low down. How about that? There's two of them, one in the back there, one in the front. Like most warblers, they are insectivorous, feeding mainly on small insects, spiders and larvae, though it may also consume berries in the autumn. It typically forages low in vegetation, hopping quickly between bushes. It's often identified by its restless movement, flicking low through bushes, and through its distinctive scratchy melodic song, which can be heard all year round, but is most frequent during the breeding season, which is March to July. The Balearic warbler is listed as a species of least concern by the IUCN, but faces local pressures from habitat loss, wildfires, and predation by feral cats. The conservation of Ibiza's coastal and scrubland ecosystems, particularly within Salinas National Park and the island's network of protected areas, helps to ensure the species' long-term survival. Right, so I've had my fill of Balearics and accompanying Mediterranean spotted flycatcher. So now I'm just heading down this rather treacherous hill just to get to the main path again. And then I'll be heading out. I've just got Balearics all over the place here. I must have had 5, 6, 7 birds around me at any one time. It's great to see them doing so well here at Talaia. So I'm just below the antenna towers. They're behind these trees, you can't see them. But this sort of open mountain scrubby area is where you want to be. It's really good. Never seen so many Balearics in one spot before. They're doing really well here. And I think there are further eBird pins further back towards the main antenna towers and further down that way, northwards of Talaia. We're on the south side now, but yeah, this is really good for Balearics. Linnet, spotted flycatcher, Sardinian warbler. I've seen a few butterflies as well, but I'm not a butterfly guy, so not that I don't like them, I just don't know them. I can't ID them for you. So, okay, let's head out. And I'll show you that treacherous drive out. Okay, I just had a pair of raven fly through this valley here, which is new for the trip. I think I'm up to around 40 species, but like I said, this isn't a full-on birding holiday, this is a family holiday, so I can only grab my birding as and when time allows. If you are hiking up Talaia from St. Joseph, it takes about 45 minutes to an hour and 15, depending on your fitness level. It's not too bad a walk. If my wife can handle it, anybody can. But I must say the drive up is a little scary, which I'm going to show you now on the way down. But if they grade the road, it's not a problem at all. There's just one section that's washed out, which I have to negotiate now. Okay, I made it back to the top. Little chapel here. And I've even got Balearics here. There's one there. Another one. They're all over the place. It's a really good spot for them. Sun's nice and high already. San Antonio and the antennas. So I've parked my car further down, so we just need to walk that road back to the car and then home. To show you the hunting Balearic here. That little shrub down below. Another one in this pine. They're the two together. So yeah. Okay, I have to leave the Balearic sadly. As you can see, the road up here is not bad. Dirt track. A little bit of a drop off on the left. But there's one or two sections on the corners where the water obviously rushes down and has washed out the mountain. And also I didn't bring my car down here because this is quite a steep road in, but while I was up here someone else came down in a normal sedan car, so it shouldn't be too much problems. Local graffiti. Yeah, but I wasn't prepared to risk my rental down this rather gravelly road. Down is not a problem, back up is the problem. Okay, we're back at the car. Yeah, so I just didn't want to drive down there. Okay, I've just driving out, just got some crossbills here. The Balearics have their own subspecies of crossbill. One up in this tall tree here. The Balearic crossbill is a subspecies of the common crossbill and is genetically distinct, particularly in relation to other populations in the Western Palearctic. Like other crossbills, it has a unique crossbill to pry seeds from conifer cones, those being Aleppo pines here in the Balearics. Because Ibiza lacks large mixed forests, the crossbill's presence is closely tied to these pine ecosystems. Like other crossbills, males are typically bright red. However, here on the islands, the males tend to be more yellow-red, while females are duller olive or greenish. They're nomadic birds, and when pine seed crops fail locally, crossbills may wander in search of better feeding areas, occasionally moving between islands and even the mainland Iberian Peninsula, and are resident breeders in the Balearics, typically nesting in late summer, which is June to September, when the seeds of conifers mature, but may nest at any time of year if they locate an area with a suitable pine cone crop. Unlike most birds, crossbills can breed in winter, sometimes as early as January or February, when pine cones are abundant. They build compact, well-insulated nests high in conifers, typically laying 3 to 4 eggs. Their early breeding season gives the young access to the peak of the pine seed harvest. After getting back in the car and taking off, I had this lovely spotted flycatcher sitting on the fence surrounding the antenna, showing very well from the comfort of my car. It was soon joined by a great titubove in the pines, and then on my drive down I came across a small flock of red-legged partridge, which soon disappeared into the undergrowth. Okay, so this is the section that's a little bit washed out. There's enough space on the left-hand side, but it narrows as you go around the corner, so just take it slow on either side here. It should be fine. And then just aim for between these rocks. There you go. No, that's about the worst of it. There's a little section here that's a bit iffy. I had to build it up with rocks this morning.
Perfect. Cool.
In part 3, we bird around Kalilonga and Ibiza town. Thank you very much for watching and please subscribe.